Hello, and welcome to Horror Movies and Shit. I'm your host, Jim, and with me as always
Work.
is... Bork. We have a few people with us today. Do you want to do a round of introductions?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
What was the question?
We were just doing introductions. All we could hear was the road noise.
Oh, I got you. I'm sorry.
So
No, I'm Shane, and I'm Mark's brother-in-law. So I'm happy to be back on the show.
Yeah, welcome back. And we also have our friend, true crimer podcaster and famous author, Matthew Brockmeyer.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, gentlemen.
Thank you for coming back on. It's always a good time when we get to talk to you, my friend.
and we may have one additional surprise guest if he turns up. Ooh.
Yes.
So Jim, what are we doing today?
So, I have no idea, Mark.
Oh.
I'm just here for the. I'm here for the chat.
This is the big Thanksgiving feast of podcast. We have not discussed Stephen King before, so I thought it would be fun if we went through every single Stephen King TV and movie adaptation.
That's going to take a while.
We will see how far we get, and there may be part 2 or 3. Who knows? But I figured we'd just go through it chronologically, and we created
Oh, Jesus Christ.
we created some tiers, and we will just
Yeah.
put them in the tiers that we think it is.
Tears as in, like,
Yes.
I'm going to cry?
Tiers
Oh,
and
fantastic.
tiers. There will be tiers over the tiers.
Fantastic. I'm so ready
And
for that.
as we go along, we can just, if we want to discuss a movie or our thoughts or the books or anything, it's just an open conversation. I just thought it'd be some fun.
Sounds
So,
good to me.
we all know the first movie from Stephen King's works.
Wait. Well, hang on.
What?
Hang on. Let's give them the tiers.
Oh. Okay.
What are our tiers?
So, classic, great,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
meh, and dog shit.
Okay.
I feel there's going to be quite a few in the dog shit category, to be honest with you.
Yeah? I don't know. What do you think, Matthew?
I like it. I like it better than a 1 to 10 scale. I never really liked that 1 to 10 scale too much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, you know Mark's feelings towards me and my 1 to 10 scales.
Jim's favorite movie ever, 1 out of 10. Okay, so we'll kick it off here. 1976's Brian De Palma movie Carrie.
Yes, the year I was born.
So
that is an absolute classic.
Agree. Absolute classic. I remember they made a television version. Like, do you remember that that they could show in like that movie of the night or whatever? And I don't know how old, and very young. I think it was like maybe the year or two after. It was maybe 78, and there was I remember watching that. It blew me away.
huh.
Yeah, absolutely. Carrie.
They just like
I remember
edited out the
watching
sex
Carrie-
scenes and shit.
Yeah, of course, obviously, because it was on broadcast TV. But I remember feeling so sorry for Carrie White through that entire film, and so vindicated when she took her revenge.
Hell yeah.
So
Remember when she made the little kid on his bike fall over? I was like, yeah, fuck him, man.
Right? Fuck you, buddy.
and this is obviously going to be a recurring theme in Stephen King's works about bullying. I think this stands out almost compared to any of the other adaptations, just because of De Palma, the way he directed that, which I think is just wonderful. The split screen and everything. I think it's just so interesting to look at.
Well, and let's not forget to talk about Piper Laurie and her fantastic portrayal of a woman that has completely lost control, right?
I liked it.
It was fucking amazing. Like her playing that woman that has completely lost herself and completely embraced, everything that's ever happened to her is because of their own choices. It's fucking amazing. Like mental illness runs really rampant in her, and she does an amazing job portraying that.
Shane?
Yes.
No, I mean I completely agree with Jim, Mark, and Matt that they did such a good job on building up that whole, as you will, that vengeance and the way that her mom treated her, and just you really did feel for her through that movie. I mean, the ridicule she got in that shower scene, and just everything that led up to it, could drive a person to be able to succumb to some serious powers. You know what I mean? You drive a person to that kind of madness. What do you think is going to happen? You know, and like I said, the development of each of those characters and the way that they made you feel for them throughout the movie was astounding.
So you would also say a classic then, Shane, right?
Classic. Yeah.
Wow, I wonder how often we'll all agree.
No, it was well done. You know what I mean? And Sissy Spacek, they picked the perfect person for it. I mean,
so I have a question. I believe in the book. I haven't read the book, but she's like really overweight in the book. But every adaptation they've picked. No, am I wrong?
I don't know.
I think so.
I've read it a couple times. I'm trying to remember. It's a very bizarre book. It's almost like a found footage where there's like all these government reports and stuff. A lot of it is like from the United States Department or whatever, because she ends up blowing up the whole fucking town. And so it's like there's all these government people there like trying to figure out what happened. And then there's like it's very postmodern, I guess, in that way. Or it's got all these, different governmental papers in it and stuff. It's interesting.
I'm curious and Mark, I don't care if it's too early to talk about this. What did you think about the remake with Angela Bettis? The made for TV one that was supposedly more truthful to the source material.
I'm going to say meh, since Mark's not replying.
Oh,
I did not.
Yeah, I did ask him a question.
Oh, I thought you said my apologies. I have not seen it.
I didn't like either of them.
Is that the one with the chick from? You're talking about the movie or the TV show?
The TV.
It was made for TV. It was Angela Bettis from May.
And that was a TV.
That's the one with the big screens all around, right?
Yeah.
See, I didn't see. I saw the remake that they made a few years back, and I don't think it hit on the same.
Oh, with Chloe Moretz.
Yes.
67.
Right. So
Yeah.
in the book, Carrie White is described as plain, pimple, and fat with bovine reactions.
Bovine reactions.
So it's interesting.
He threw it in the trash because he thought he could never understand what a teenage girl was like. He's like, this is ridiculous. What the fuck am I doing? And then his wife took it out of the trash and sent it off to his agent.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember hearing that story.
So it would be interesting to see if they ever do another one, if they get maybe a larger actress in that lead, if that makes any difference.
Well, here's something no one ever talks about. Carrie's really about vengeance on the school and blowing up the school. And it's kind of if you look at it in the proper light, a school shooter story, something that Stephen King has done several times, many times, actually. It's interesting. I don't know if it would get the same reaction today.
Yeah, I believe one of his books, sorry, Shannon.
Was it really based on just the school, though? I mean, she had so much animosity, a love-hate thing for her mother. You see that build through the movie, and then at the end, I mean, she's caressing her before she blows up the block, like you said. So, I mean, like, is it really towards the school at first, or was it created from her mom, and then it just kind of festered into that?
Well, it just the end result.
Yeah, I mean, her mom is the catalyst for all of that happening, like of her starting to embrace her powers and all that. But it's actually the school that she wants to take vengeance on. It's not so much her mother until she realizes, I can't get out of this. And that's when she decides to take everything down with her.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, in the movie, it's like it's almost a reaction. She doesn't mean it, and then after she stabs the mother, she feels this regret and runs to her and starts trying to pull the knives out of her, and then it just becomes so tumultuous. It begins to rain rocks.
Yep.
Which will happen in another Stephen King adaptation when we get there.
Sorry, say that again, Mark.
The Raining of the Rocks. That also happens
Mhm.
in another Stephen King adaptation.
I think he's got one more book with a little kid with telekinetic kinetic powers too.
And
Oh no, never mind. That's like every one of his books. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
and bring up like the school shooting aspect of it. I believe there's one of his books which he has kind of censored,
Rage.
right?
Yeah, it was published under Richard Bachman, but yeah, Rage. He you can't get it anymore.
Yeah.
I've got a an old one of it. Yeah, and then there's also a short story in Skeleton Crew where a kid starts shooting up the school from his dorm window at college.
Don't remember that one.
He's a
Okay, Mark,
theme
what's
of
next
his.
on your list? Yeah. Well, I mean, bullying in general is a big theme in most Stephen King works, right?
Mhm.
I mean,
Okay, moving on to the next one. This is a director who I know that Jim knows that I absolutely love. This is a TV movie, 1979 Salem's Lot.
Yeah, Toby Hooper.
Toby Hooper.
yep. Toby Hooper. For me, this one's just meh.
Oh,
I didn't really care for the original or the Return to Salem's Lot. It just never did it for me.
Return to Sales.
I got a lot more enjoyment out of Chapel Wait, which is supposed to be like a prequel to Salem's Lot, than I did out of Salem's Lot.
Mhm. I'm gonna say classic. It definitely Toby takes his own take on it. There's a monster instead of a, in the book, he's a vampire. He's just a normal looking guy who can talk and speak. But Toby made him into this monster who can't speak. But I love it. It worked. But I saw it when it came out in I think 1978, and I was like 7 years old, and it knocked my socks off. So I got a lot of nostalgia.
Well, and that may be why I didn't see it until I was an adult.
Yeah.
I don't have any of those fond memories of it, so that may be why I didn't appreciate it as much.
It is a 70s made for television movie, so
Yeah.
I agree with Matt. It's definitely something that you want to rewatch, during the Halloween season, and Salem's Lot, I believe, would be classified as a classic. It's just something that everybody's heard of. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good watch just for the season, especially.
I will say that I loved the book.
Yeah, it's a great book.
I thought the book was terrific. It's just the TV stuff I didn't really care for.
It was filmed right here near me, and we go down there and go to the locations all the time, that iconic graveyard. And for the 40th anniversary, they had a huge celebration, and they tried to get Stephen King to come, and they couldn't get him. So they got the next best thing they could get, which was me. And they had me like speak, and I read from the book and stuff. But
Wow.
a lot of the actors came and stuff. It was hella fun. It was great.
That's quite an honor, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the lady who put it on owned a bookstore there, and like I've given readings there. She like knows me, so I used to go read
pretty
The
awesome.
Raven there every Halloween.
Nice.
Nevermore.
Nevermore.
I would put this into great. I don't think it's a classic, but I mean, looking at made-for-TV movies, I definitely think it's a step above like most of them. Really enjoy all of the actors in it. David Soul and what's the English guy? Oh God, I love him.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Mark, I'm surprised you don't see it as a classic. I'm really kind of.
I am too. I am as well.
James Mason.
James Mason, yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I think almost if it had
Mark.
Yes.
Mark, you need a different voice. That was your Jason Statham
Jason
voice.
Statham. Hi, Jim. Yeah, I mean, I always think that generally made-for-TV movies is a bit of a downgrade from regular movies. Now, that's obviously changed in like recent years, right, with like big, huge budgets going behind it. But in the 70s and 80s, yeah, a little bit lower rent, but still great.
It was amazing what they did with the money they had. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Nosferatu-ishness
Yes.
of him is awesome.
So cool.
It's so striking too. It's just like the first time you see it, you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, and you still see that image around constantly. I probably saw it today 3 times on Facebook. People use it in memes. It's a GIF, everything.
Yeah.
Ooh,
What do you guys think of the Rob Lowe version?
I've not seen it yet.
Again, I've not seen a version that I enjoyed that much. I mean, it was okay. It just wasn't anything special.
Right.
I
liked it.
love Rob Lowe, but I have not seen that.
It's pretty good.
I mean, it's not terrible.
It's fine. Yeah, it was entertaining enough.
It's sort of like the Molly Ringwald version of The Stand. I didn't care for.
Actually, fun little fact. I went to school with his niece. Her name was Alex Burkhoff, and she would show us pictures of her hanging out at his house during holiday get-togethers and whatnot, and him cruising with them.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
Well, at least she wasn't showing you a sex tape.
I know, right?
That was later.
Yeah.
And now there's this
Yeah.
new version that I guess it's just going to go right to Netflix. They're saying it's been
Well,
in
they're
production
actually
for years and
HBO
years.
Max.
HBO Max, yeah.
Yeah.
Must be pretty. I always thought that they should have made another mini series because it's such an epic book. You know, they have this entire town with all these characters, and there's so many little mini dramas going on. It would have made an excellent, 5 to 10 hour series.
Yeah.
I don't know how they can do it in an hour and a half. It sounds ridiculous.
I mean, it's gonna be all about Ben and the vampire, right? It's gonna have to be. There's not much time left for any of that side drama.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Mark Petrie.
Up next, and you have to think, back in that time, King was really swinging for the fences for the first 3 adaptations because we have Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
That's a classic.
Yeah, absolutely a classic. One of the greatest films ever made.
Yep.
I agree. Don't upset people.
Mark's gonna go mad.
I'm gonna go. It's okay.
That's interesting that you say that because I thought you would either be like dog shit or classic on that. I don't know.
It's
funny that it's okay.
There's aspects which I really like about it, but there's some aspects which I don't like anything about it. So it just kind of hits.
What didn't you like?
What did I like?
Did not like.
Oh,
didn't.
Okay. So, and I think this is a common. I've heard other people say it too. Jack Nicholson just looks fucking nuts from the get-go. So that character arc just doesn't pay off because he always just looks like one step away from being freaking going nuts. Right? That's not in the book.
Yeah.
Also, it's kind. I know it's obviously a stylistic choice from Kubrick. It's very sterile, and I don't know. I'm not going to say I get bored watching it, but I don't know. There was just something about it.
It's slow. It's a slow burn.
It's definitely a slow burn. It 100% is. What did you think, Mark, then, of the Rebecca De Mornay remake?
I haven't seen it. A lot of the
dog shit
remakes I haven't seen.
Really? You think so, Matt?
Well, it was fine, but that little kid's face just irks the fuck out of me. Here, I'm gonna get really controversial. I like Kubrick's better than King. I like the fact that the father is in the book and in that Rebecca De Mornay, the father isn't the monster. The monster is the hotel. The monster gets into the father and he slowly turns him. I like the fact that the father's scary. That's scary to me. That it's actually the fucking father. I mean, he might be egged on by the hotel, but like Mark said, he's already fucking half cocked. But that's fucking terrifying. That your father is a monster. I love.
That's because they had no TV.
There was a TV, and they're watching that classic. They're watching that classic show. What's it called? Like the 1950s. It's a movie about a woman who has an affair with a high school kid. But if you look, the television isn't plugged in. You ever notice that? I've studied this film. I could probably talk about The Shining. I make a whole podcast series about The Shining. I'm so obsessed with it. But I love the hedge maze. I love the hedge maze. Not in the book. I think that is an amazing metaphor for what's going on, getting trapped in this maze. I love the fact that the hotel wins and sucks him in, and he becomes one with it at the end, instead of like all of a sudden going good. I hate it when he goes good. I just got his, and
But you're explaining it to be almost like an Amityville Horror, where he takes on the evil of the house.
That's exactly what the book is.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, essentially.
In the
So,
book, he literally beats himself
I
up.
mean,
He's about to kill Danny, and instead of killing Danny, and it doesn't have an axe, he's got a croquet mallet, and he begins to
Mm-hmm.
smash himself in the face with the croquet mallet, going, "Run, Danny, run!" And Danny runs and goes
Right.
free. And like, so the dad is the hero.
Yep.
In the end, the dad
Right.
saves the day. He saves everybody. He may have been the one causing it, but at the end, he is also the hero and saves the day. And I like it that the
Yep.
dad doesn't save the day. I like it that the dad is bad. I like it that Halloran gets killed. I thought that. And I saw an interview with Stanley Kubrick. He's like, it's a fucking horror story and no one dies. He's like, come on, you got to kill somebody. And I like everything that he did. I like better.
So my only complaint about the Stephen King remake of this movie from the Stanley Kubrick, because I love the Stanley Kubrick version, is that at that point in time, Rebecca De Mornay was known for playing strong or insane women, and to see her try and take on that Wendy role was ridiculous. I don't think she fit it at all. Because the whole time I'm going, she should be fighting back.
And that's the thing that
Whereas with
Stephen
Shelley
King
Long,
said
she
too.
was insane.
Stephen King's like, Shelley Duvall just ran around in a bathrobe and screamed. My character was a fighting back, but then when he goes, yeah, agree.
Although I will say that stomach shot with the croquet mallet was pretty intense in the
Right.
remake. When she got hit in the stomach, that
Yeah.
was pretty. Oh,
I will say, obviously,
I-
all the acting in the Kubrick one is fantastic, and what they
Yeah.
went through dealing with Kubrick.
What they went through, right?
Especially-
You ever see that shot of Shelley Duvall doing lines of coke and Stanley Kubrick's yelling at her? He's going, "That's not gonna help you, Shelley."
I have not seen
That's
that.
great. Yeah.
wait, are you
Yeah.
talking about
Yes,
Olive
olive oil.
doing
Yeah.
lines
Yes,
of coke?
yes, we are.
Oh my God, get out of here! I want to see this.
Stanley Kubrick's daughter made a little mini documentary. You can find it. It's out there. In the Rebecca De Mornay one, it's all worth it to see Stephen King conducting an orchestra of the undead. That shot right
Mhm.
there is just so wonderful.
It is.
All right, moving on. Now we have
That's it. I thought we were going to talk about The Shining for the whole show.
Oh.
All right, go on.
we can talk
We
about
do have what 89 other ones to get to, Mark.
it. And then of course there's that documentary Matthew has probably seen, that Room 281 or whatever.
The what?
The documentary about the
1408?
conspiracy
Oh,
theories
yeah.
around.
Oh yeah. I love it. Yeah, and I absolutely believe that the moon landing was faked, and Stanley Kubrick did it, and he told the public by making The Shining. It's absolutely 100% true.
That's the way you do it, right?
Yep.
Oh
Jim's
my
looking
God.
surprised.
I don't.
Did you see
Little
little
bit.
Danny had the NASA shirt on with the rocket going in the air? Duh.
Never noticed
The
that.
moon landing's fake. It really adds up when you think about it.
Okay.
Okay, Mark. Next.
So we're on to our fourth out of 80 plus. So we're doing good here.
Yeah.
1982's collaboration with George A. Romero, and this is the anthology movie Creepshow.
Oh, fantastic! It's a classic.
Absolute classic. Agree.
You could not get any better for an anthology. I am not a big anthology guy, but I loved Creepshow and Creepshow 2. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. Well,
They're both great.
we'll get
Agree.
for Creepshow. Okay, so classic, Shane.
Yeah.
I believe it's a classic too. I mean, Mark, as you know, I am a Tales from the Crypt hands down type of guy. I feel like they try to belly off of that, but Creepshow 1 and 2 were definitely I would say classics.
Well, Bane, Stephen King himself says that he is a EC comic ripoff.
Yep.
He says it. He's like, I rip off EC comics. I read Tales from the Crypt as a little kid, and I rip them off. And he also is like, I rip off Lovecraft too. He doesn't hide that fact.
Can I just say?
Well, and, I found that out too, because Mark actually just told me that he's very open as to this, that, and the other, and I never would have thought that. And it's kind of funny that you guys are saying that, because it's just one of those things that kind of escaped me as a kid, that you would never think. I guess you have a portrayal of a person, right? And when you find out the other side of it, it's different, if that makes sense. Not saying that it changes my perspective of him, because he's still great and he has that worth, just like Robert Englund or some of the other greats, but just not what I expected.
I will say that, and forgive me because I'm going to sound like a total neophyte here, but up until my late teens, I never knew Stephen King was in the original Creepshow.
Yeah, Jody Verrill, dude.
I did not know that was him until I was in my late teens.
That's Jody Verrill, man.
He's
You
the guy that teaches
knucklehead,
the
Jody
comics.
Verrill.
Yeah.
Which again, talking about borrowing from Lovecraft and stuff. That's The Color Out of Space.
Right.
That's just his version of it. I think this is a classic. Anything with Tom Atkins in it is automatically a classic. No, I think all the stories are good, which is hard to say about a lot of anthologies.
Agreed.
And I love the diverse cast in it. Ted Danson and Leslie Nielsen, and it's very quotable too. So
Adrienne Barbeau.
This was, not gonna lie, this was the first time I saw Leslie Nielsen as a villain, and he was fantastic.
Oh yeah,
right.
Because I was used to the slapstick.
Mm-hmm.
I was not used to seeing him as a serious actor,
and
right.
And it was great.
And of course, the direction by Romero is just so wonderfully colorful. Just really aping back to those EC Comics kind of style. So yeah, I think it's a
blues and reds. Yeah.
And Mark, you
well, with the entire cast that they had throughout the season, it's almost like the horror version of SNL, if you will.
Yeah.
And Mark, what did you think? That ending of the raft from Creepshow 2, that was pretty much on par with what you enjoy, right?
Yep. I don't really like Creepshow 2 that much. I think there's too much dead weight in it. But that I think is an excellent episode. Even though it's, I will get there. There's something very strange in that episode, and it's not the black goo. There's something else. Okay. Okay, we're staying with the letter C for 1983's Lewis Teague D. Wallace vehicle, Cujo.
It's a classic.
I'm not going to say classic. I'm going to say great, because the little boy lives, and in the book he dies, and he should have fucking died. That little fucker should have died. So
that's fair.
It takes it down a little bit, but it's a great film. I really, really, really like it.
A lot of my appreciation for this is because, in my opinion, and Mark knows this because I told Dee Wallace this to her face, in the 80s, she was the mom everybody wanted to have for their mom, because she would fight for you no matter who was coming for you, and she was just such a caring human being on screen.
Well, except when she turns into a werewolf.
Right.
No, I cried. I cried when she turned into a werewolf. She was a very sympathetic werewolf. I'm just saying.
She was kind of a shitty mother. She didn't even realize an alien was living in the goddamn house.
I know. Terrible. Shane?
Cujo, for me, kind of falls along, I would say great. It's kind of along the same lines as Christine. It's one of those where I guess I never really got into it. I liked the fact of the killer dog thing, but it just wasn't my style of movie, if that makes sense. I mean, I'd prefer like a Pet Sematary over Cujo.
So one of the reasons I have so much appreciation for this is, at the time that I saw this movie, I had a Saint Bernard.
Oh, okay.
I never, and he was so sleepy and dopey, he never would have done that. But it added an extra level.
Maybe if it was rabid, Jim.
Maybe.
We had a Burmese mountain dog, and it really had a Saint Bernard look. This isn't when I was a kid. This is fairly recently, but sometimes she would come walking in all slow with like the droopy lips and like the kind of sad eyes, and I would look at her and be like, "Fuck, dude!" I was having like flashbacks to being a little kid. Like, you were fucking creepy looking, man. It's because of that movie.
Right. When our Saint Bernard, when I was a kid, you couldn't be afraid of him because half the time he'd look at you when you told him to do something like you were stupid and then just go back to sleep. Or he would sleep in my mother's flower bed. So, I mean, there was no danger here.
I'm going to put it in between okay and great. So I haven't seen this since the 80s. So I really have to rewatch it. So I'll give it a great just because I don't want to.
I thought you said it was going in between okay and great.
Huh?
I thought you said it was going in between
Yeah,
okay and
but
great.
I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to start
Okay.
splitting up the tiers.
Here's my theory of Cujo. You have the family, right? And have you guys read Jaws, the book Jaws?
Yep.
Yes.
So like there's an affair going on and it's breaking up the
Yes.
family, and then this monster comes in. It's Jaws,
Right.
with a fucking dog. If you really like break down the storyline and look at it, it's Stephen King high on cocaine rewriting Jaws with a dog.
Yep, especially with them stuck in the car, it's the same as them being stuck out at the end.
Yep, stuck in
So
the boat.
I'll tell you a funny story, Matt. We had one of the authors on our podcast, and it's escaping me who actually said it, but I mentioned to them that they asked if I ever wrote, and I said, well, when I was a kid, I would write, but then I realized I was just regurgitating everything that I had ever written or watched, and he said, well, welcome to horror writing.
Well,
No, writing in general. You can't make anything up original. It's everything you saw or experienced or read. Or and we all stand on the shoulders of the ones before us.
Right.
Well, that's true. But honestly, I got into an hour debate the other day with somebody about the movie Jaws, and I'll tell you, it's one of the worst conversations. I think I don't get upset much in conversations, and it bothered me.
Mark, it was you, wasn't it?
No, actually, it wasn't. It was one of my buddies. He's like, you'd never be able to make the movie if you just stayed out of the water. And I'm like, well, do you like fish? You like fish sticks? You like crab legs? We have to get in there to get the food. Like, what are you talking about? It's not an impossible.
He does kind of have a point, though.
I mean,
see all these ridiculous
right.
people
just stayed out of the water. Yeah, you just stay out of the water, but the mayor wouldn't let them stay out of the water. So what are you going to do?
You ever see all these ridiculous people thinking Rob Zombie's going to remake Jaws? It's not. He's not. And it's like become this rumor mill on the internet, and all these people are just like dogging on Rob Zombie and saying this and saying that. And it's like, dude, you have Google. Just Google. It's because that stupid meme. And all these people think that Rob Zombie is going to remake Jaws. And I don't know. It's crazy.
No, wait. I can see his wife.
Yeah, that's the joke. Yeah. But people are taking it very seriously and getting very upset. And you're like, it's not fucking real, man.
Matthew, you know my stance on Rob Zombie, right? We've had this conversation
Jim, you've
before.
told me. Yeah.
So I come home from work the other day, maybe 2 weeks ago now, Mark, right? Something like that, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And guess what's on in my house?
I don't know.
The Munsters.
Jeopardy.
I still haven't watched it.
Don't, please. I legitimately said, if you don't turn that shit off, I'm going in the back bedroom and I will work on graphics. I am not watching this shit.
Oh, hey, speaking of working on graphics, I told my buddy that you were going to post that thing, Bobby.
What?
Mark told me to give you a hard time. I was just giving you a hard time.
Well, I had to wait for Riverside to export it, so it's exported now. It'll be up by tomorrow.
Oh, you're good. I'm just giving you a hard time, but I'm not famous, so you guys are the famous.
Who's famous?
Matthew.
No,
Matthew's the best-selling author on this podcast.
There you go.
I am technically a best-selling author, but that doesn't mean much.
Well, it does.
It does to us, Matthew. You're special to us.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm so condescending.
Okay, Mark, let's move on before this gets emotional.
Okay, again, a very strong start to the work adaptations of Stephen King. We have now David Cronenberg coming into the scene with The Dead Zone.
Yes, Christopher Walken.
Yeah, absolute classic in my opinion.
It was just okay.
Shane?
It's become so iconic. You constantly see the image of it everywhere. There's South Park
absolutely.
everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not iconic. I just, even with the remake, it was never my bag.
Well, South Park remade The Shining too, if you remember.
Yeah, in the video store, the Blockbuster.
Yeah.
The Blockbuster thing, and he's like, Randy, do you want McDonald's? Yeah.
He's like, I'll take a Blade Runner remake. I'll take the Blade Runner and Turner and Hooch instead of ordering alcohol.
Well, no, I got to say for this movie, I'm very ashamed of myself. I'm a huge Christopher Walken fan, but it's been years since I've seen it. I can't give too much input on it because I would have to rewatch that one, and I'm shameful to say that.
These are all going to be
What?
classic for me because I saw them all as a little kid. They're just iconic. You know what I mean? They're
wait
just
till we get through the list.
I
They will not
so
all be classic.
please don't mistake my saying it's just okay for not understanding that it is iconic, because it is. The imagery from this movie is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. But subject matter, it was just okay for me.
and nostalgic for me as well. You know,
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
saw it in the movie theater with my mom, and I was just like,
Yeah.
wow. And it's got some
That's
beautiful
part of
Cronenberg touches. For instance, when he kills himself with a pair of scissors
Yeah.
by jamming them into
Right.
his mouth, I mean, that's 100% David Cronenberg. Just utter weirdness, disturbing, transgressive body horror, you know? So
Yep.
I'm a huge Cronenberg fan. Just I adore him. I love him.
I think
Mark?
it's great. It doesn't quite reach the level of classic for me, but I mean, Matthew, as you're saying, there's so many iconic parts to it. I was just about to bring up
Yeah.
the whole scissor suicide thing, which was like burned into my head when I first watched it. I'm like, why would you do that? there's easier way to do it than that. I'm sore. But yeah, I think it's great.
Okay.
All right,
Next.
let's see. Okay, here's one which may be a little divisive, well, for me, certainly. My favorite horror director, John Carpenter, made this 1983 adaptation of Christine.
See, they're all classic for me. I can't. I saw it in the movie theater. It's just a classic to me.
So I'm a little split on this. The imagery from this movie is classic, but the movie is just okay. I don't see a whole lot of. There was not a whole lot that was exciting about the movie for me.
I agree. It's an okay movie, but it's still. I'm still gonna say classic.
Well, that's fair.
Shane?
I'm on the same wavelength, like I said, with the Cujo thing. It was okay for me. I wanted a little bit more from it, I guess. Imagery, I wasn't a fan of.
Okay. I just wish Carpenter picked a different story. I think it's just okay, just because it's just one of those movies I can't get my head around the concept. Right?
Right.
It's just a little bit too far out there for me to take seriously, which is what they're trying to do.
Yep.
But it's just unfortunate for me. Again, Carpenter's my favorite director, so
I thought it was a good vehicle for Carpenter because it's so manly. And it's a story about this little wimp who becomes like a tough guy. And it's all about cars and motors. It's just a very Carpenter feeling to it. You know what I mean? There's that,
right.
he's like got that 70s tough-ness to him, you know? Kind of like a hoodlum
He's got that
shit.
classic.
I just
He definitely has the classic imagery, and he makes a great photo. And visually, it's a very pretty movie, but it's just not. The subject matter is meh.
yeah, and that's my
So it's just okay.
ooh.
Another bullied kid who becomes a tough guy and fucks people up.
Oh, and I do like that actor, the main guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
He
do
was
like
in
him.
Jaws
I
2
do
as
like
well.
him.
Dressed to Kill.
Yes.
Keith Gordon.
What is it?
He was in Dressed to Kill.
Yeah. He was in a lot of stuff in the 80s. I just don't remember his
I
name.
can't remember it either.
Keith Gordon.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're starting to maybe get into some different territory. This like isn't the worst by far, but I think we're starting to see the quality slip a little bit, in my opinion. This is 1984's Children of the Corn.
Oh no, the original's a classic.
I'm gonna agree again. I mean, just, all these movies are just a part of who I am. I can't.
Yeah, the original's a classic. It was the first time, at least for me, that I saw that children could be bad in a film, and they were particularly vicious.
There's a Star Trek episode that I feel like he ripped off. You ever see
Which
that?
one?
It's the one where they go to the planet and it's Children of the Corn, but it's a planet where they go to this planet and it's all teenagers and all little kids, and they've taken over and they've killed all the adults, and now they rule the planet, and like they're gonna kill like fucking Kirk and shit because they're adults. But then like the one kid's like getting older and they're like trying to like get him over to their side.
When when I will say Isaac and Malachi and He Who Walks Behind the Rose scared the shit out of me
Nice.
in the original.
I can't see an ear of corn without screaming, "We've got your woman, Outlander!"
Exactly.
Shane?
I like the Children of the Corn. It was something that stuck with me as a kid, just because my mom always put this weird image of having girls in these little bonnets and everything. But no, but the Children of the Corn for me was I would say it's a classic. I mean,
I'm gonna say it's just okay. It looks like a made for TV movie.
It does.
Uh,
I
It
agree.
does. I'm not debating that. Yeah.
and just I don't know, something didn't really like. It's not terrible. Like if it's on TV and there's something else on, I'll watch it. But it just doesn't rise to great in my head.
You're also taking a 10-page short story and turning it into a 90-minute film. It's pretty
Right.
bold.
Turning it into like 15 sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is a movie I only watched, I think, a couple of years ago. I don't know how I avoided it. But this is the Drew Barrymore movie, Firestarter.
Oh, it's a classic.
I'm torn between classic and great. I guess I'll go with
I can see
classic.
that.
It is. It's. I love it.
To me, the movie's not really about her. It's more about her father
Hmm.
and what he goes through trying to protect her.
Yes. Which is what the book's
And
about.
I
You know,
thought,
the book's pretty much.
right. And I thought, I can't remember the actor's name, but I thought he was fantastic. And he really made his character and Charlie very empathetic characters to watch everything they had to go through. And again, I had the same feeling with Carrie that I did with Charlie when she comes out and she's shooting those fucking missiles. I was all about it. I'm like, finally.
But Jim, I know for a fact you do not like George C. Scott.
That is correct. I do not.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole. Shane?
I do like my actors to have a
Yeah,
little range.
okay.
So
no, I do like Firestarter. I believe it is a classic. You know, especially with Drew Barrymore being as young as she is. You know, doing E.T. and Cat's Eye, and it's just it's always been a movie that you know you kind of remember. I would watch it here and there, but I honestly haven't watched it recently, and I didn't realize that it was a book. And I'm actually taking notes to a few of these. That
I think it's one of his best written books.
should read.
yeah, I agree.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm taking notes here because I want to read some of these because I know, like I said, when I read E.T., it's the small things like that they tell you what the dog's thinking in it, and I thought that was pretty interesting. So I kind of want to see where a few of these books that you guys were talking about lead to. So stuff that I'm missing. If you will.
The new one was god awful.
Oh God, yeah, and Firestarter Rekindled was terrible. So where they tried to have a grown up Charlie, it was awful.
I missed that one, luckily.
Ugh.
So again, I only saw this recently for whatever reason. And so no nostalgia or anything, but I thought it was pretty great. Maybe just I wasn't expecting much from it, and it over delivered. But I thought it was pretty great.
Okay.
Okay, what the fuck is this? Okay, I don't know if we'll know this one. Tales from the Dark Side episode, The Word Processor of the Gods, 1980.
Right.
I don't know that one.
Classic. I'm a huge Tales from the Dark Side fan. I've got them all on DVD,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say classic for me because it's just I don't know. You know, that's a George Romero kind of. He had that. It was his production company putting those things out, and
So
I'm a huge fan.
what's this story about? You remember?
I love Tales from the Dark Side, and this is a new one on me. So please enlighten us.
Well, it's you type into the word processor and it will make things come true.
Huh.
Stephen King wrote it for Playboy magazine.
Oh, okay.
He was very excited about it.
Shane, did you read
You know,
that?
Playboy asked him.
Shane, did
Yeah, the Tales from the Dark Side. I got to refresh on. I'm not as informed as Matt there, but I have seen a few of the episodes. So that's again, I'm writing that down. That's one that I should have.
But did you read
Right.
the Playboy magazine that was published in? Is the question.
Oh,
I
no,
only read
no,
the
sir.
articles.
Of course, that's all I would look at it
Oh,
for.
I get you.
Obviously,
Playboy's actually a very literary. I
No,
mean, all the greats have been in there.
I'll take your word for that because I've
I-
never
Yeah,
looked
that
at a single
no,
magazine.
I'm telling you, if you know who my mom was, I got like Better Home and Garden. That's basically all I had to work with. As I was lucky to get something that even showed somebody in
So
a
the
parka.
Sears catalog was
So
your porn? Is that what you're saying?
The old days.
that was basically it. I had to wait for the summer edition of the swimsuit. So
Okay, so another anthology, another Drew Barrymore performance. We have 1985's Cat's Eye.
Classic. That little guy going into the fan is forever stuck in my head.
that's why I said classic with the Drew Barrymore.
Classic. Some of the best Stephen King short stories out there. I like it almost better than Creepshow in a weird way. Quitters Anonymous. I mean, it's just a legendary short story. The Ledge. It's just a great movie.
Yep.
I'm also going to say classic, Matthew. I kind of agree with you. I almost think it's better than Creepshow, or it might be. But you could just watch them back to back, I guess.
Right. It's like the stories are better personally, but Creepshow is Creepshow. You know what I mean? There's something iconic about it. It's just so cool. I love it. I love Creepshow.
The creeper, the imagery of the creeper, like lets you know what you're in store for, what you have in, coming up for you. So it definitely sets the mood more than probably Cat's Eye does
exactly.
And I think the way it's directed, it's brighter, cartoony. I think that's just adds an extra layer on top of it. Whereas this, well shot and everything, but
hey, who's the little kid in Creepshow who stabs the dad and stabs the voodoo doll in the head and kills his dad?
Stephen King's son, Joe
Hill. That's right.
Was it Joe Hill? Really? I did not know that.
No kidding.
Oh I will say I am a fan of his books.
Yeah, huge. Well, he's. I just wish he had. I was a fan of his earlier work, his short stories, and I feel like I was sad that he just went in that dark fantasy horror direction. I think he could have been. I think he's got like a great American novel in him that he's not doing. But
Nosferatu is one of my favorite books.
I hate that book.
Oh my!
Well, given my disdain for Christmas, it sort of falls right in line for me.
Oh, I hate Christmas too. It's just so cheesy. It's just so. That's what I'm talking about. Like when you put that out, I'm like, you're just being your dad, huh? You're not gonna try to be an artist anymore. You gave up.
Wait, how close was the movie Nosferatu to the book?
It's a TV show, but the first season was pretty.
No, but there was a movie.
No,
you're thinking it's NOS4A2. It's different.
Yeah, different.
Totally
different story.
It's about evil Christmas land.
Yeah, but I will say I have a soft spot in my heart for Zachary Quinto, and seeing him play a villain was very satisfying.
I never saw it, but I heard it's great. Everyone who I know saw it really liked it.
The first season is great. I would bail on the second season if I were you.
I don't think I'm gonna watch it. Or maybe I'll watch it during Christmas season. Who knows?
Yeah, the first season was pretty great. The second season, not so much.
All right. Now we have the wonderful Gary Busey.
Who doesn't love Gary Busey?
Who?
Who doesn't love Gary Busey?
Know. Crazy people. Like Gary Busey. Now we are 1985's A Werewolf Mystery, Silver Bullet.
So, okay. Yeah, I'm right there with Matthew. It's meh. I love the book, but the movie's just meh for me.
We talked about this on the werewolf episode we did, and Jim and I completely agreed that the book was just so good and so different, and they just kind of dropped the ball a little bit.
Right.
I'm sorry.
What did you think of Silver Bullet?
My God, I got to refresh my memory on that. I as a kid, I remember it was a great movie, but there's a lot of parts that I need to retouch on that. It's been years since I've seen it.
I'm going to say, and this is probably part of the conversation too, whether you've read the book before or not. I haven't read the book, so I don't have any preconceived notions. I thought it was okay. Yeah, it was fine.
The book was a huge part of it.
On that note, Mark, I saw the movie way before I read the book.
Okay.
So I'm not. I don't have any bias on that end. I still just think the movie is
No,
amazing.
yeah, and I just mean just for general conversation that
Yeah.
it kind
It
of
was.
affects you.
I was interviewing Richard Chismar, and he started going off about what a great movie it was, and how he showed it to his kids, and he loved that movie. And I was just like, yeah, yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't realize my camera was on the right side. Sorry,
Hi.
guys. Not see it.
Okay, so it'll be interesting.
Oh, pumpkin.
Oh no.
Like
And he's
that?
got-
That's my equivalent to his clown.
Um,
Don't get me started.
This next one might not be judged on quality, but maybe for fun factor. And certainly Stephen King had a bunch of fun directing this because he was coked out of his mind.
Here it comes.
It is Neil as in Maximum Coke Sorting or Overdrive.
it's a classic. There's no other. You cannot
Oh.
tell me it's not a classic. Just that truck alone, and the image of that truck driving down the road is a classic.
It's a
It
dog
makes
shit
it iconic.
classic.
It is a dog shit classic. Yes.
So Jim, do you think it's legitimately a classic that, as in, it's a very well made, good story, good acting?
No,
So
I
it's the
absolutely
fun
do not.
factor,
No.
right? It's like
It is the fun factor. Yes, absolutely.
Matthew.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jim. Exactly. Dog shit classic. You know, it is what it is, and it's something.
Shane?
It's something for sure.
Yeah, no, don't come here. I have no idea
Okay.
about this movie. I'm writing it down.
Okay, Maximum Overdrive. Oh man, it's like if you're having a couple of drinks, it's classic. Otherwise, it's
Fun.
great. I mean, but it is. It's just so much fun, and it's just like
It's a big semi truck with a goblin on it.
I love it, and I love that image. I absolutely adore that image. If I could get a giant poster of just the truck with the face on it, I would have it in every room in my house.
well, that's going a little over.
Nice, nice.
I don't know. The last semi that I saw was what's his name, Rufus, with the bear tied to it. So
Smokey and the Bear.
Yeah.
no. What was it? The Vacation.
Oh
One.
yeah.
What's the guy?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about from Walking Dead?
Holiday
Yeah,
Road.
he was driving a
Yeah.
killer.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Yeah. They're like, why'd you put the bear on the front? He's like, it makes the kids feel comfortable.
Okay, next up we have another TV episode. This time, The Twilight Zone, and it says episode Grandma / Personal Demons / Cold Reading.
Grandma. It's a classic. Love it. I
don't
love the
think I know
short
this one.
story. Love the Twilight Zone version. They're both excellent. It's one of my favorite. One of my it's from Skeleton Crew. It's a classic short story, and that rendition of the Twilight Zone, like I thought all of them are great. The Grateful Dead did the soundtrack to the opening to yeah.
Really?
So
Has anyone else seen it?
No.
it's a creepy story. man.
There's something on the wings.
Okay, now we're moving slightly away from horror, and this is the Rob Reiner
Stand by me.
movie, Stand By Me.
Fucking
Classic.
classic +10.
Yeah, you cannot under any circumstances say this is not a classic. It's a coming of age story for a lot of people in our generation.
Mm-hmm.
Shane,
Wonderful film.
have you seen it?
This is embarrassing, Mark.
Oh,
Like, I'm
don't worry
feeling
about it.
emasculated at this
I would if I were you too.
It's from the
Same.
short story called The Body
Alright,
that was
so-
in different seasons.
Mhm. Yes.
Hold
Different
on,
Seasons
hold
is
on.
incredible
Stand by
book.
me, right?
Apt Pupil, man.
Yeah.
That's like one of
Oh
those
my god, Apt Pupil
fucking
is fucking
fucked
amazing.
my head up. I read that. I was probably
Oh
like
my God.
12 years old, and I was just like,
Yeah.
"What?" Dude?
Really, I didn't read that till I
fucking
was an
hurt
adult,
me.
and that was yeah.
So
Okay,
fucked up.
so Stand By Me, I will put into dog shit.
Oh,
You have got to be
I'm-
kidding me. There is no
I've been
way.
tapped.
that's
I-
insane.
I'm kidding. It is a classic.
Okay, good.
Weedle Wheaton.
Even you, Mark, with your taste in movies, could not put that in the dog shit category.
So I think we all love that. I don't know if there's much to go over. Let's stick with the horror. Okay, so we talked about this one briefly. It's 1987's Creepshow 2.
Yeah, it's fantastic. There's it's not as iconic as the original, but it is still a classic.
Agree. Maybe great, classic, great.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, the
Yeah,
raft,
yeah,
the cigar Indian, the hitchhiker. What is that hitchhiker always saying?
Oh shit!
Oh my god,
This is a great movie.
I don't remember. It is like The Raft is my favorite, obviously, of all times. That's my favorite story in that whole season, in that whole anthology. But the Cigar Store Indian was great. I'm trying to think of what the other two stories were.
Hitchhiker.
The Hitchhiker. And I don't really remember that story, but it's got to be 10 years since I've seen this movie. So
Yeah, me too. Maybe even longer.
Creepshow.
You're talking about Creepshow,
Creepshow
right?
2.
See, there was an episode that I feel like they kind of copied off of again. You know, going back to him kind of shouldering off of things. There was a Tales from the Crypt episode where a lady made soap out of her victims' bodies, but then when she went to go use it, it melted her own skin off, and I thought that was an interesting.
Huh.
You remember that? Okay. Because that was one that resonated with me for, I don't know why, but that one stuck with me as a kid.
There have been a number of people who made soap out of human fat over the years.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. Disturbing.
Well, they did this thing in Hocus Pocus.
No, I'm talking about in
Matthew-
real
Matthew
life,
would
like in
know.
the 1800s.
Yeah, Matthew's a true crime guy. He would know for sure.
Oh, yeah. No, but I think that's interesting. That, you know, I mean, think about the resources. You were limited back.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you had to work with what you
Or just do it for fun.
That's true.
Yeah, there was
or
this
just
serial
do it for
killer
fun.
in Spain in the 1800s who would he would take people over the mountains into like Portugal, and he would kill them and then butcher their bodies and render all the fat into like really fancy soap, and then he would bring it to like the farmers markets and sell it. And when he was finally
mean,
caught, he said he was innocent because he was a werewolf. Very interesting
I'd
story.
be like,
We talked about it briefly in the werewolf movie thing.
Hey, I identify as a mermaid. So, okay?
What you identify as what?
I'm definitely
What
like
did you say, Shane?
I said I identify as a mermaid. I said it's great
Merman?
that I can breathe underwater, but Mark can still drink me under the
so a mermaid, not a merman, correct, Shane?
Hey,
You know what?
There's no shame. You can wear the coconut bra, the seashell bra. if
We
you
are.
want. Hey, Mark, let's move on, shall we?
So 2 to me is just okay. Like I didn't like that wooden Indian episode. I thought it was boring. But the raft really made up for it. Hitchhiker was pretty good, but I think if the raft wasn't in it, it would be probably meh or dog shit for me.
If the raft wasn't in it, it would be a VHS episode,
Right,
a VHS
right.
anthology.
I know an
They
interesting
suck.
little tid fact about the raft that's interesting. He wrote that as a young man and had it published in a porn magazine, like not even like, because Playboy publishes esteemed authors, Joyce Carol Oates. I mean, all kinds of. If you're famous, you've probably had a short story published in Playboy, but he got it published in an actual like fucked up underground porn magazine. And then when he went to make Skeleton Crew, he was gathering together all his old short stories, and he had lost the original. So he set out to find this porn magazine that had published it and paid him for it, and they were no longer. They had folded. They weren't around anymore, and he couldn't find any copies. And to this day, no one's ever found a copy. And he had to rewrite it from memory for Skeleton Crew.
Wow.
Oh, I meant to, whenever we were talking about the first Creep Show, bring up the weird thing in the raft, right? So, like, the guy getting all rapey on the woman.
They had to stay warm.
But she was like, was she knocked out or no? She was asleep, and he's all like unbuttoning her stuff and whatever. I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
And yeah, apparently a bunch of the cast got like hypothermia making that episode because it was
Was Father's Day in the first one or the second one?
First one.
Okay. I love that scene where he comes out with his daughter's head on a platter. I fucking love that.
And when he comes out of the
That image
grave,
is
it's great. But you know what the best part is?
Yeah.
When they're disco dancing. Remember that?
I do.
Very awkward scene there.
It was. Yes.
Okay. We have another Tales from the Dark Side episode. So Matthew, maybe you've seen this one. It's called Sorry, Right Number.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that one. My favorite Tales from the Dark Side episode is the one where the girl is staying with the elderly couple and they're cooking her in the hot tub.
Well, Matthew's got a hot tub out there, so.
Oh, yeah, I know. Are you making soup out there?
You know it.
Super soap.
Soup first, soap later. Got to render that fat down.
Yeah.
Okay. 1987, and here we go. Get ready, everyone. Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Running Man.
In the that's just meh. Oh my god. The only thing iconic about that, or that's even good about that movie, is Richard Dawson. He was fucking fantastic, but the rest of the movie's garbage.
The Running
Man.
Oh my god, that's
yes.
Kings?
Well, it's actually Richard Bachman if you want to get technical.
Technically, yeah.
I was elected to lead, not to read.
Did you know that necrophilia was legal in California until Arnold Schwarzenegger became governor and wrote a law making it illegal?
What a spoiler for it.
I did not know that.
Not all heroes wear capes.
But so can I qualify my meh
Absolutely
rating?
not.
It's still a guilty pleasure because for whatever reason I fucking love the movie. I will watch it every time it's on TV.
But that's what I mean. So you got entertainment out of it, right? You're still rating it now.
Yeah. I am, because I enjoy it, but it's not a great movie. There's very little redeeming.
There's some cool special effects. And that lady's face.
Sub-Zero was my favorite.
But Jim, so you rated
the little guy comes out of him and shit, right?
Yeah.
That's just cool.
No, that's Total Recall.
Oh, that's Total
Recall. I'm getting totally mixed. I always do that. Fuck.
That's okay.
Quaid, start the reaction.
Welcome to the party, Rukta. So Matthew,
I can't even really remember it, man. Like, I saw it in the movie theater as a little kid. I remember reading the short story better than I remember seeing the fucking movie.
It reminds me of a low-budget Tron.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. Shane?
Anyway.
All right, so The Running Man for me, I agree with Jim. Like, every time it comes on TV, it is something that I definitely, I fall on, and end up watching it, regardless of what part of it. For me, it was different. I mean, it had the same feel as Total Recall, but just like either before or after that happened, if that makes sense. So it was for me. I mean, it's a classic. I mean, I love Arnold. The chick that was in it, and Sub-Zero wasn't my favorite. Honestly, to tell you the truth, it kind of reminded me a little bit of. They put some of that into Idiocracy, if you've ever seen that movie.
Yeah, it's a class.
Where the guy with the flames that was just walking around aimlessly, like, I feel like they took a little bit of that and put that in that movie. So, I mean, it has to be iconic to the point where obviously they're even making spoofs about it. So,
okay.
You never seen Idiocracy, Jim? It's funny as hell, dude. You like it?
No, I have not. I keep hearing that. I've been hearing it a lot lately, but I've not seen it.
There's a lot of good points in it. I mean, it's a little political. It's a little, this, that, and the other. You got to take it with your own perception, but it touches on a lot of good. It's like, all right, how about this? It's WALL-E meets Running Man. That's what that movie.
So I really like,
if you will.
I did not know that Mick Fleetwood and Dweezil Zappa were both in this movie.
Huh? Me neither.
Oh yeah. Are you talking about the wrestler?
No, Mick Fleetwood is in Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about what's his face.
And then for some reason, I always think Mercedes Ruehl was in it, but it's Maria Conchita Alonso.
He's
Who
in
I
Predator
loved.
2.
Yes.
Okay. So I absolutely love The Running Man. Classic Arnie. Really, telling like reality TV, right? It's really before that time.
Yeah.
Hey, this is where we're going to go. Yep, we're pretty much there.
We are.
Um,
You're right.
Jesse Ventura and everybody else. I just love it. Classic.
Oh yeah.
All right. Now we get to the 1989 Pet Cemetery.
Classic.
Classic.
Anybody who sees Zelda and doesn't say this is a classic is ridiculous.
But it was campy and it was cheesy, and I
It was. Yes.
liked the remake better, to be honest.
What?
Yes. I thought the remake was
The
fantastic.
remake was garbage.
Loved
I
it.
gotta disagree
Loved the
on that
ending.
one.
They changed
Yeah.
the ending. I thought the ending was
No.
fucking so good. I fucking loved
dude.
it. Love it.
Miko Hughes
Well,
and whatever the wife's name is in this film were fantastic. The one that from Star Trek. What's her name, Mark?
That would be Denise Crosby.
Thank you. I mean, they're absolutely fantastic. And Church, the images of Church are absolutely iconic. That you could not, and the guy that gets hit by the truck in the beginning of the movie, the student that is sort
Yep.
of his
The jogger or
ghost
whatever.
through the entire movie. Yeah, there is nothing about this movie that I could say that was bad. Nothing at all.
It's a little over the.
Including what's his name?
Don't go
Herman
down that
Munster's.
rod.
Yeah.
You don't want to go off there.
You don't want to go down that road. But I mean, it's
and Stephen
fucking
King
great.
as the preacher.
Yeah,
that was fabulous.
Shane?
I mean, it's a great movie. It's a great movie, and the sequel's even good too. Really, really over the top, but fun as hell.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's fun as hell with Edward Furlong and what's his name, Mr. Krabs, Clancy Brown.
But I love the remake, man. I love the little girl as the zombie or whatever. I loved because when he's giving her the bath and she's got the staples in her head and shit. I don't know. There's something about being a dad that like it really hit me hard.
Maybe that's what it is. I have no idea. I don't have that experience, so I can't say that it made a difference to me.
Shane?
Sounds like he's.
Well, you're not alone, Jim, because everyone hated it. It's like, you know, I'm always out there like, yeah,
Sorry,
Pet Cemetery
I
remake,
stopped you.
Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and everyone's
no,
like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Right.
You like what you like.
That's true. That you do.
So
Shane, what do you think of Pet Cemetery?
No, Pet Cemetery is classic for me. I mean,
Mark?
the cast, the way that they did. I mean, I haven't seen the new the version of it that you guys are talking about, but I mean, the original's a classic for me. So,
Mark?
I think it's just okay.
Yeah.
The the fucking guy that plays the dad in it, he is fucking awful in that role. Like, he's
I
terrible.
disagree.
It's very campy and it's got a very low budgety feel.
Yeah, it's
I agree.
does.
I know what you're saying, Mark. It's not like a great. That's what I'm saying about the remake. It felt just like a better production value.
this one felt again like a made-for-TV type.
Agree. I agree.
I mean, it's okay. I don't hate it or anything. There's certainly good parts in it, but just overall, it's like,
I still love it to death.
But what makes it classic over iconic? Like, it for these movies, is it something that you would watch during Halloween, or is it something that you'd watch randomly
Halloween's every day for me.
on a?
Yeah, I would watch this movie every time it comes on TV.
I'll watch any horror movie. I don't Halloween.
Well,
I don't
that's what I'm
watch
saying. So
Halloween's
a
like
classic.
fuck. I watch horror movies all day, every day.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
it. That's what I do.
The only thing special that happens on Halloween is I either do a Halloween marathon or a Friday the 13th marathon.
The only thing special for me on Halloween is
Otherwise-
everyone else is doing what I do every fucking day of the year, so I feel like
Right.
cool.
Halloween's forever.
No, I agree, but it's you know, it's if you had to pick or choose over one, flipping through the channels and you land on these two, you know, what number would that one fall under? You know, for me, like as a classic, it's something that you would definitely have to watch during the October season. If it's not something that you'd have to watch per se during that season, like a must watch. That's what I'm saying. That to me, a classic is something like you have to absolutely watch it during that October.
Yeah, no, this is a
season.
movie that I'll watch every time it's on TV.
And I'm saying, like, for me, I'm big on the Insidious, and I know a few of you guys are not, but like the Insidious and the Conjuring things, like, but that to me is not a need to watch during Halloween.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It falls under an everyday sort of thing, but I feel like there are certain ones that you just can't not watch, and if you don't, I mean, we're all going to hell, but it makes it worse. You know, he's going to ask you, why did you not watch this in 2024? You're supposed to be watching this. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, there is a God.
So,
Eugene.
no, whatever. Hey, you never know. Buddha might be into horror.
All
movies
hail
too.
Dave.
You know, he'd be like, why did
Fuck
you
that
not?
Dave.
Hey, I'm from Hawaii.
Mark?
Hey, if you figure out how that works.
All right, I didn't even realize Stephen King wrote this. I guess I never really thought about it, or wrote parts of it anyway. This is 1990s Tales from the Dark Side, the movie.
Which ones did he write?
Don't know. It's just on this list, so whatever.
It's funny.
If
I'm
I had
so
to guess,
obsessed
it
with
would
the TV show. I can't even remember the movie. I can't remember any of the. I must have seen it
If
at
I-
some time.
If I had to guess, it would be the kid with the power that takes away his sister's mouth.
That's a classic
Twilight.
Zone.
Oh, that's Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
movie, right?
this one I think from memory is this one with Christian Slater, and they have a mummy at the start, and then there's a separate episode
Maybe.
where
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
That's entirely possible.
About a
yes.
woman.
I can't even
Oh my
remember it at all.
Yeah, there's another episode like a woman turns into like a big dragon thing or something. I don't know. And Debbie Harry cooking the kids, right?
Cooking the kids.
Oh,
right?
Debbie Harry's in it. I gotta go watch it now. I'm in love with her so much.
Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. Matthew Lawrence was the kid. Christian Slater was in the first story with the mummy.
I remember that.
That's Lot
Is this the
24.
one? Because I always thought it was like one of the Black Cat stories. Is this the one where the cat jumps down this guy's throat?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic Stephen King short story because I heard an interview with him, and his neighbor was a doctor, and he went, and this is when he was young, like, and still like, I think he had already been somewhat published, but he was still like, he wasn't Stephen King, he wasn't Uncle Steve yet, and he went to the neighbor and was like, "Can I just ask you some medical questions?" He's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Would it be possible to eat a cat or just a kitten? Could you swallow a kitten whole?" And he's like, his neighbor was just staring at him like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Medical. I have a medical question.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a Jeffrey Dahmer type question.
Right. So the first story is Lot 24. Steve Buscemi, Christian Slater,
Steve
Julianne
Buscemi,
Moore.
no way.
Yeah. Then we have the overarching story with Debbie Harry where she's cooking the kid. Then we have the cat with the guy in the wheelchair. Yep. What's his name? William Hickey. And then, this is the one with Ray Don Chong with the gargoyle.
Was it a gargoyle?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it was a monster. I thought it was a dragon, but couldn't remember.
No, it's a gargoyle.
Wow.
Because her and the two kids turn into gargoyles.
You know, I might not have seen that
because
since 1990, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
I
It's fantastic.
forgot it existed.
I loved
Jim, do you want to rate?
I would go great. I'm not going to say classic, but it's pretty great.
Matthew, do you remember enough to give it a tier ranking?
I give it a 420. I'm stoned. I can't remember it at all, man.
Shane?
If it's got Debbie Harry in it, it's classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I remember the show. I just, oh my God, these are things that I need to refresh on because you guys are on specifics on those. I don't remember that specific scene. That's the only thing. And Steve Buscemi, I'm kind of surprised that I didn't recognize.
Because you probably didn't know him back then. I mean, who knew who Steve Buscemi was in 1990? This is before Fargo.
Yeah, exactly. Julianne Moore. Who knew what she was? Who she was in the 90s. She really came up in the 2000s after she did
Boogie Nights.
No. The
she did
sequel
Hannibal.
to Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, but Boogie Nights was before that.
Yeah, thank you.
Hannibal.
Was it?
Yeah,
I mean, but you know,
way
Thank you.
before it.
yeah, but she also did Evolution. She did
Well,
Jurassic
she was in
Park.
Jurassic
She
Park.
did,
She was
and then I think
Jurassic
after
Park
Jurassic
2.
Park was when
Oh,
Jurassic Park 2, right? But I'm saying I think it's after that is where she played Clarice. I think it was after Jurassic Park
It's
2
possible.
is where she played the.
I didn't like her Clarice, to be honest. No one could be. I'm just in love with Jodie Foster.
I know
Everybody
you
loves. Who
can't
doesn't love
compare.
Jodie Foster?
I'll kill them.
Right.
Except
I mean,
in Panic.
come
Except in
on.
Panic
I
Room.
mean,
That was kind of garbage.
I didn't mind it. Jared Leto, right? Did he have his hair in braids and shit?
I don't
What,
remember. It was just
what was the
garbage. I
one?
blocked a lot
I
of
think
that.
it was Jodie Foster about her kid getting kidnapped on the plane. Was it Jodie Foster?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
Red
I never
Eye.
even
The one
watched
where
it.
nobody believed
That's
her.
the
Was that
dumbest shit
Red
I've
Eye
ever
or-
seen in my life. Anyway,
You ever see
Yeah.
the little girl who
I
lived
don't
down the
know.
lane?
no.
Is that the one where she
It's
dies?
in 1970s. What?
Yeah, it's a 1970s Canadian film where she like kills her landlord.
Oh,
But she's
I
like a
have not
little
seen that
girl
one.
living all by
I'm
herself.
surprised you guys didn't
It's a
mention
classic.
The creepiest Jodie Foster movie I ever saw, for me anyway, was she was dying of some terminal disease, and her friend from next door comes over, and she's done all this old age makeup on herself because she says she wants to see herself as an old lady. Like
I don't know
cried,
this one. I
but
can't
I cannot.
remember.
I don't know it. I don't know the name of the movie, but it's fucking.
Damn it! I thought I was a Jodie
it was
Foster fan.
traumatizing.
Fuck.
Well, were you guys not confused with Contact?
I'm not confused
I
with
loved
Contact. What do you mean?
I mean, I love Contact. Don't get me wrong, but were you not confused a little bit on the Interstellar level? Like, I get that they fell through, and the images, spoiler, the images were all, but at the same time, did people think that she was nuts at the end because she couldn't prove what she saw, right? And again, for Mark, I know that this is another concept. I mean, the Christian dude, he basically was he proved wrong?
The
or
Christians
right?
are always proved wrong.
Because
Christians are wrong.
So I
Period. In every piece of media
Well, I
and
think we
everything.
figured that out. in
so I
Martyrs.
think I think we'll
I think we figured that out.
I
in
think we'll
Martyrs.
save this discussion for our astrophysics and quantum mechanics. Okay, so
Hey, honestly, I gotta tell you, with speaking about the astrophysics and shit, Bill Burr said that if Einstein had a Southern accent, nobody would have taken him seriously.
He was a
Can you believe
fucking
that?
Jew kicked out of Germany. What are you talking about, dude? No one took him seriously.
But he sounded eloquent, right? He's like, E equals MC, right? But if he came to you in like a North Carolina accent, like E equals MC squared, would you
As
take him
opposed to like
fucking
a
serious?
thick.
He sounds more elegant saying it in German than he would as.
I don't think you're
like
grasping
somebody
the
from
straws
Georgia.
there, man.
I'm just
Hey,
saying.
back on topic, Matthew.
He's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm right. I'm going fishing.
Back on topic, Matthew. It's called Echoes of Summer. Is the movie I'm thinking of.
I'm gonna go watch it.
What is
There's
that?
another one that
It's
I
a Jodie
hadn't
Foster
seen by her
movie.
called it's about the carnival. You know about that? I think it might be called Carnival or Carney. Something. That's another great one.
I don't know.
Okay. Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. I give this a great. It's let down by that episode about the gargoyle, which was just boring.
I thought it was
Nah,
fantastic. So nobody cares,
just-
Mark. Anyway, go on.
Okay, now we're on to 1990s Graveyard Shift with our friend Brad Dourif in it.
I refuse to rate this because I've only seen it once and I remember nothing about it.
This is where we start seeing some of the cheaper productions.
Yeah.
Matthew?
I'm gonna have to echo what Jim said.
Shane?
Shane hasn't
actually,
seen it. We'll save you the time.
Same thing. No, same thing. I've only seen it once or twice. Brad Dourif. Obviously is one of my favorite actors. But yeah, unfortunately, this is another one I'd have to rewatch to get.
I think this is just okay. Again, cheap looking. Some good actors in it. The main protagonist, talking about accents, has such a strong Southern accent in it, or some sort of accent. It's crazy. But Andrew Divoff's in it as well, so we do have some interesting cast. But the story overall, even the story's a little weird, and not necessarily in a good way. So it's just all right.
I like this short story. That one was from his first book of short stories, I believe, by the same name. Yeah.
Graveyard Shift. You don't say.
So
Okay.
stuff.
I'm sure none of you have seen this one or heard about it. It's this little movie from 1990 called Misery. Ring any bell? Anyone?
I don't know. I feel like Snow played a big part of this, right?
I think you're getting mixed up with The Shining.
Al Snow?
Maybe.
Snow,
maybe.
the wrestler? He wasn't in it.
Oh, no.
So,
No, wasn't that Rebel Wilson?
Could you imagine her being the Kathy Bates character?
Dude, I know, right?
I kind of could. She could be crazy pretty well, I think. But I absolutely, I think it's an iconic film. I loved it.
So, what tier?
Classic.
It's a classic, absolutely.
Yeah, great film.
Matthew?
I will say that the book was much better, but the film's a classic.
Matthew? Classic?
Classic, absolutely classic. Love it to death.
I,
Wonderful. Kathy Bates is. I mean, I love her, man. She's great.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Jane?
oh, it's a classic. I mean, through and through. I mean, well written, well done. Casting was perfect. I mean, you know, that dude should have known to face that penguin the right way. I mean, if you think about it. Yeah, no, it's a great movie, dude. And even though they kind of pan off with all that whole breaking the thing, and it makes you feel you felt that pain, even though you weren't in the situation. And I love
Right.
movies like that.
So Mark, are you a dirty birdie? Did you like the movie?
So I absolutely think this is a classic. I think James Caan is wonderful in it. I know Kathy Bates does get a lot of the plaudits, and rightfully so. But you have to think. You have to think this is another one of these movies where they could have went cheap, right? Because it's basically a one location movie.
Yeah,
for the
pretty
most
much.
part, but beautifully directed. It's amazing how much mileage you can get out of good writing and good direction when it's just like two characters. And that's most of the movie is just these two characters interacting. So yeah, classic.
What do you mean that they could have gone cheap? Was this
Well,
an expensive production? I mean, even though
Rob
it is like
Reiner. I
one
mean, Rob
location-
Reiner's
I mean,
got.
what they trashed the
You
candy.
know, you get somebody like him. It's gonna have some money. It's gonna have production value. He knows what he's
Yeah,
doing.
of course.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so
Okay, I just didn't know. I mean, because like he said, I mean, you know, it's kind of just set in the house. You know, she kind of leaves here and there, and he's rolling around. So I mean, that's it's not like an Avatar, you know, where they're having to.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like
CGI
Children of the
everything.
Corn or even like
Right.
Pet Cemetery, like you said, with these really low, like even the film quality stock doesn't, you know.
Yeah.
mhm. Okay. In 1990, this made-for-TV movie was unleashed, and it's the Richard Thomas vehicle. It.
Yes. Classic.
Classic.
Jane. It.
So good.
It.
What is it called? Oh, yes.
Tim Curry,
I'm
man.
sorry.
That's all you gotta say.
You said vehicle, and I'm like, what did you say? I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it.
Beep,
classic.
beep, Richie.
Hands down.
Beep beep.
Classic. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And I think it at that time probably set the standard for made-for-TV horror.
hmm
Can I just say though, that scene at the end where he's trying to get his wife back by riding her on the bike, I hated it from
Yeah.
the onset.
That is kind
Yeah.
of creepy.
Yeah.
Hi ho, Silver, away!
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, you're all just going to die doing this anyway.
Right.
So
It's
great to
just
do.
Stephen King cheese, man. That's what he
Yeah.
is, you know.
Okay, here's one. Sometimes they come back. The 19
The original, it was
Like-
great. I love the original.
TV movie.
I don't think I ever saw it.
I
think I've only ever seen the sequel. Sometimes they come back again. And
Yeah,
even
it's terrible. Yeah,
that.
and there's I think there's two sequels if I'm not mistaken, because one sometimes they come back the golden years.
Okay, that's a very weird statement, Jim. Do you know why?
Why?
Because the next movie we have up is 1991's Golden Years. And I'm not shitting you. I have not seen this.
I haven't seen it
I have
either,
not.
man.
Yet doesn't make any. I need to look this up. Hang on.
I didn't even. Yeah, this is new to me.
An elderly janitor hurt in an explosion at a secret army lab run by, quote unquote, the shop.
Oh, that's a
Starts to
that's a TV show.
Well, the shop is that's the secret organization in Firestarter.
Yeah.
So he's tying. It's like a movie.
This is the one where he gets younger instead of older. I don't remember this one.
So you guys should have a debate. You guys should have a debate how those are tied in now.
Castle
There's
Rock.
an entire Stephen King universe. There's nothing. There's no debate. They're all tied together.
No, I know. I was just from the.
You know what?
previous
Mark, I was mistaken because sometimes they come back again, and sometimes they come back for more. Not the Golden Years. The Golden Years was separate. And I do remember seeing it. I don't remember anything about it though.
Okay, moving.
You got to say it with a Maine accent. You got to go. Sometimes they come back.
Yeah.
Again, I can't do accents. We're up to number 27. This is another TV episode from the series Monsters. And this episode is The Moving Finger.
Missed
I
it.
don't remember that one.
Have you seen it, Matthew?
No, I have not.
What?
I don't even remember the TV show Monsters.
The Fever was my favorite episode ever of Monsters, but I don't remember The Moving Finger.
I kind of want to see this. When a mysterious and
I was on Grateful Dead tour during that time. I don't remember much at all.
It says, when a mysterious and possibly long finger inexplicably and creepily pokes up from the drain of his bathroom sink, a family man is pushed to the brink of insanity in his attempts to get rid of it.
Yeah, sounds like post-cocaine Stephen King. He's just like,
right?
What am I going to do? I got a finger. I got a finger in there.
He's just sitting there like, I don't know, just looking at his hands.
Yes, totally.
What happened if one of my fingers detached? Okay, here's another kind of cheap-looking movie. It's 1992's Sleepwalkers.
Okay.
I have a lot of love for this movie, and for me, this is going to be great. It's not a classic, but it's great. But I have a whole story behind Sleepwalkers.
I'm sure you do.
I do.
Yeah,
I actually won. I won tickets off the radio to go see the premiere.
Congratulations!
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
And we snuck an additional 2 people in.
Hell yeah.
Matthew?
Oh man, I can't. Phew. I remember seeing it.
Oh come on! You have Alice, what's her name, and Brian, what's his name from Charmed.
I don't know what that means.
What is her name? Alice Wheatley.
Alice
Reed. The chick who played the Borg. Thank you.
Browse.
I was taking copious amounts of LSD at that time.
So the cat faces were real for you. Is that what you're telling me?
Something like that. I'll just say it's great.
And Madkin and Mick. I mean, how could you not remember Madkin and Mick? She's beautiful.
Shane?
Yep. I really don't. I remember seeing this as a kid. But I can't put my own 2 cents in for this one. Unfortunately,
for me, this one's meh. I've seen it like just randomly a couple of times. It's just been on TV.
Yep.
Again, cheap looking, stupid premise. Don't like any of the characters in it. Just blah.
I'm fully willing to admit that it's just the entire atmosphere surrounding my first experience with this movie that makes it great for me.
Right.
I'm not ashamed to admit that.
I'm glad I'm sitting down, Jim, because that's shocking revelation for me. Okay, 1993, we get George A. Romero back on board as the director of The Dark Half.
Garbage. It is dog shit.
I agree with Jim.
I have seen it.
I'm not going to say it's dog shit. I'm going to say it's meh to okay.
To me, it's absolute dog shit.
I have seen it. I don't remember hating it. I don't remember much about it.
Timothy Hutton and Alicia Silverstone should never have been in this movie.
God, that was Alicia Silverstone? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Amy Madigan? No. I
Oh no, I always love Amy Madigan in whatever she's in.
But I like
She was
Timothy
not a
Hutton, to
problem.
be honest.
Yeah,
I usually do
she
too.
was in The Dark Half.
Yeah, but she wasn't the daughter. Alicia Silverstone was the daughter,
I
right?
don't think so. Maybe.
Hold on. I'm looking
Anyway,
this up.
I'm just going to give this an okay. I don't remember hating it. Don't remember loving it. I don't remember much about it at all. As Jim is looking
Who's
that
the
up,
daughter?
um,
I am. I need to know who the daughter was.
this is another movie I only watched recently for whatever reason, and this is the Max von Sydow vehicle, Needful Things.
Oh my!
Classic. I loved it. I loved the made-for-TV version of this movie.
I'm a huge Max von Sydow fan, and I agree. It's one of his best performances. I think. Just
Matthew?
That's cool. You're a Max von Sydow fan. I like him as well. I like it when he plays
Who
chess
doesn't?
with
He was
death.
fantastic. Yep. And I was mistaken. It's not Alicia Silverstone. It's a baby. There's not a daughter. I forget what movie I'm thinking of though.
Sorry, go ahead, Matthew.
I'll give it a classic.
This one, I'm going to give it a great. I was really quite impressed by this one. I think I'm trying to remember the ending, but is Neil trying to make everybody just to not like do it anymore or something, which was a little weird. But overall, I really liked it. Great. Okay, now we're on to some. I'm not going to say this one's dog shit because I think there's interesting ideas in it. And this is another made-for-TV movie, I believe, and this is The Tommyknockers.
I loved it. I think it's great.
I missed it, but I liked it. Everyone hates the book, but I like the book.
Oh, I fucking love the book.
Yeah, me too.
And I think there were a lot of things that they missed an opportunity with in the miniseries. But I love the miniseries too.
People hate that book. Like it's crazy.
Like when she,
it's another one where it's
you know
like
what the most-
Halloween mentioning Rob Zombie or something, where everyone like dogpiles you.
You know, I will say,
said, is it
Tommyknockers? Yeah,
like K or
okay.
Like knocking on a door.
Tommyknockers
Okay.
knocking at your door.
It's a total
anyway
Lovecraft ripoff.
Okay.
It really is. Like that scene where she's coming down the stairs in the book, and she's got that thing coming out from between her legs. It's disgusting. Yeah. It's absolutely fucking
there
gross.
was so much gross stuff in it. All the people were mutating. I loved that.
Yeah.
That was another one of the blitzed out high on cocaine that he doesn't remember writing books.
I think this meh.
The one that I'm thinking about, Mark, is actually a Dean Koontz book with Jeff Goldblum.
God damn you.
Oh.
I know.
Jim,
Sinner.
Did you rehearse for this at all? Yeah. No. Okay, so here's another little movie. It got a little buzz around it. So you may or may not have heard of it. It's 1994's The Shawshank Redemption.
Meh.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm so. Let me preface this by saying I do not enjoy a whole lot of drama films, like just straight dramas, and that's exactly what it is. I understand it's a very heavy, very thought-provoking film. It just wasn't for me.
I go
not
classic.
Not say anything negative to it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, The Shawshank. I mean, to me, is a classic. I mean, everybody knows. I mean, you can't pat. The funny thing is do you know that Tom Hanks was actually supposed to play the role of the lead, but he turned it down to take on Forrest Gump.
Thank God, I hate Tom Hanks.
So I mean, with those, yeah, I'm just saying with these two movies, we wouldn't have Forrest Gump.
You're right. It might have been a better world then.
Well, I mean, but I think Morgan Freeman made it what it was anyways. I mean, it's like his voice is like sleeping on a bed.
You know my favorite character from The Shawshank Redemption? John Coffey.
That's the wrong
I know. It was a joke. It was a joke, Shane.
Oh.
I was waiting for somebody to get it. It was a joke.
You fucked me up on the head, bro.
No, but actually, that was a great movie too. Anyways, long story short, no, The Shawshank for me, I mean, it's a classic, Dateline. He killed his wife, spent some years in prison, chiseled his way out, cockle-doodle-doo. He went through some shit, got out, right? I mean, but the way that they did the movie, it was relatable. I mean, even though you haven't killed somebody or chiseled your way through, shit, I think they did a good job. I mean, I honestly, I can see how that would be the start of the Hannibal series. You kind of stand in your boat. Next thing you know, an FBI agent's asking.
Is that a euphemism, Shane? Sanding your boat.
It's in the same short story collection as Stand By Me.
Yep.
Mark, I like it, Rob.
Good to know. So I think Shawshank is absolutely a classic. It's just one of the best movies ever made. Although I don't tend to watch it very often, but I can't deny how much of a classic it is.
I can honestly say I don't know if I've ever seen it all the way through.
Okay, 1994's The Stand with Molly Ringworm.
Hated it. It's dog shit.
Ooh.
I kind of liked it, I think. I can't remember. I remember watching it. I don't know if I ever even watched the whole thing. In 1994, I was just like all running around, and I think I saw it in some hotel rooms. And I remember thinking, this is cool, because I was like a bit into the book. You know what I mean? But, yeah, whatever.
I don't know. I think the stand you saw in the hotel rooms might have been a different version.
It's just a book stand.
Yeah, exactly.
Some LSD.
This movie's great, man. You looking at this, kid? You see this?
Shane, have you watched The Stand?
No, I have not, and that's
M-O it spells moon.
It's one of those things on my list that I do. It's one of those things on my list that I do have to. I do have to watch. I mean, and just to recap real quick, you guys said that the Creep Show episode 3 and the Tales from the Dark Side episode 5, correct, is something that you had touched on earlier, right?
Possibly.
We'll cover them.
Probably.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just, for some reason, those caught my
fun
interest
fact
when you
about
guys
fun
were talking
fact about
so
the stand from 1994. It's the first time we ever get to hear the Patrick Star voice from Bill Fagerback.
Is that really where it came into play?
His character is Tom Moon, and his most famous line is M-O-O-N spells moon, and it's said in a very similar voice. Yes.
Gotcha. And, quick question: did they make a game off The Stand, or am I thinking of something else? Am I thinking? I might be thinking of The Strain. That might be a different. Yeah.
Did they make a game out of The Strain?
That's why I was.
They made a series out of it, which is fantastic. But I don't know about a game.
That's one of the things that I said that I wanted to watch was. But I thought The Stand. My misunderstanding.
Understanding.
So, yeah.
Ha ha ha.
Okay, I give this one okay. I have seen it all the way through, but honestly, I don't really remember much of it. So it couldn't be that good. Or that bad.
And Laura San Giacomo, I usually love her, and she was terrible in this. Like it was just so cheap, the whole series.
Yeah,
the whole miniseries.
I mean, it's made for TV. Yeah, in the '90s, they had a real cheap look.
Like even Matthew McConaughey's Randall Flagg in The Dark Tower was better than the Randall Flagg in this film, and he was garbage.
I didn't even realize he did. I didn't watch that, so I didn't realize that Matthew McConaughey did that. It's kind of tripping me up. I'm kind of like seeing a Saturday Night Live version. You ever see that impersonating on Saturday Night Live?
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's pretty much what you see. Not gonna lie.
Wow. I didn't even realize.
Mark,
okay, talking about cheap, we have Robert Englund and Ted Levine in Tobe Hooper's. Do you know what it is? Anybody?
Eaten Alive.
The Mangler.
Oh, they made a movie out of that? God.
They did. I've seen the cover art for it, but I've never watched the film. Which is weird because I love Robert Englund.
It's literally a 2-page story about a fucking washing machine that attacks people.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shane.
And he wrote it because his mom worked in a
That's like
laundry.
that's
There
like
was an
Mark's
industrial
favorite movie
laundromat,
called Revenant.
and they had a washing machine there called the Mangler because it had all these like things that spun. And if you got your sleeve stuck in it, it would
Yeah,
fucking pull you in and fuck you
right.
up.
It's used for drying clothes, right? That's what
Yeah,
I'm
maybe.
for, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But so his mom would talk about this machine called the Mangler. So he did it. I think like a virgin's blood drops in it, and
Yeah.
somebody accidentally says something, and then this machine tears off down the middle of the street.
This is like another Christine, kind of possessed machine type deal. Yeah. Shane, have you seen The Mangler?
I have not actually.
This is so it almost raises to the level of like great because it's so bad, but it's kind of boring too. So it's going to go into the dog shit pile.
Toby Hooper, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Right. Well, I mean, that's not surprising given Mark's predilections for Toby Hooper.
I did not think he was a very good director.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't like Poltergeist? You don't like Texas Chainsaw
He
Massacre?
didn't.
So
He loves.
I thought you said you liked Salem
Poltergeist. He
Slug.
just does.
no, I do. So, but he made a lot of movies, right? So I'm just judging it
Invaders from Mars.
on the two. Did not like that at all.
Fucking love
So
that
I
movie.
think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is an absolute classic, the best thing he's ever done. I really like Salem's Lot, and I don't really see a lot of Toby Hooper in Poltergeist, honestly.
He believes Steven Spielberg directed it.
Yeah,
Well, he produced it.
I know.
But, I mean, he was.
No. If you ask Mark, he directed it.
Yeah,
No.
or he told Toby.
Steven Spielberg's a fucking pussy. It would have been so weak, dude. Yeah, there was some gnarly stuff in Poltergeist. It was definitely Hooper, man.
Yeah, I just don't see a lot of his direction in there, honestly. Anyway,
There's like skeletons popping up out of the pool. That. Think about like you ever see the Billy Idol video?
guy
He
ripping off
directed the
his
Billy
face.
Idol video, Dancing with Myself with all the zombies.
yeah,
I have not seen that one. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's It's really good. Loved it as a little kid.
okay.
I wonder if that was the inspiration for the what's his name video where the guy's roller skating and he rips off all of his skin.
I don't know that.
Anyway,
Okay,
That sounds good.
it's Rob something. I can't remember his last name. Mark.
yeah,
next.
we're continuing down the road of shit. It's 1995's The Langoliers, with perhaps the most irritating child performance in any movie ever, and that's saying something.
The most irritating part of this movie was not the child.
Oh, she-
It was Bronson
No,
Pinchot.
she was awful. Awful.
So was he.
No, I know, but she's even worse.
I disagree. But I will say I loved the story, The Langoliers. I did not appreciate the film at all.
So, what's your rating,
My rating is meh.
Matthew?
Did not see it.
Keep it that way. Matthew.
Shane?
We're starting
Although
to
the
move into
story,
my,
the story is worth, the story is worth reading if you haven't read it. But the movie's.
I'm trying to remember. Is that a short story?
I thought it was in one of his collections. I don't think it's
in
a standalone book.
10 to Midnight or something like that. Is that even?
Yes, I think
It's
so.
Yeah, I've read it. Yeah.
4 past midnight.
4 past midnight. What did I say? 10 to midnight. Yeah,
Yep.
4 past midnight.
It's okay. I knew what you meant.
10 to midnight's
From
a
what
Charles
remember,
Bronson movie, I
would
think.
say, man,
Yep.
I would like to reread it again and watch it, but I would give it a meh until I know.
Yeah, I think it's
You know,
dog shit. It's awful. Some of the worst CGI you'll ever see in your life.
Ooh,
Yeah, those balls
90s
were terrible.
Right,
The balls were
Yeah.
awful.
But it was just so boring with just really irritating characters and actors that I didn't like. So.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of balls, and those were definitely the worst. Anyway, go on, Mark.
Okay, I have not seen this. I don't know how I've not seen this one, but Kathy Bates is back and starring in
Rose Red, Rose Madden.
Dolores Claiborne.
Dolores Claiborne. It's so the book is great. The movie's boring as shit.
I saw it once drunk.
So
I remember really liking it. I'll give it
it's because
classic.
you were drunk.
No.
To me, it's just okay. It's the story. The story is very heart wrenching, but the movie just didn't do it justice for me.
Okay, Matthew.
I saw it once drunk. I'll give it a classic.
Okay,
Echo.
Echo.
I didn't know if you wanted to add anything else to that.
I mean, Kathy Bates is cool.
Shane.
So hot.
She is. It's really the subject matter that's the problem. It's not the performances.
Shane.
I'm gonna have to watch this one. I don't remember.
So for anybody that doesn't know, the whole premise is she is an abused woman and she throws her husband into a well and lets him die there.
But she's also got a little store and shit.
Okay.
Well. Okay. Here's another cheap-looking movie. It's the Tom Holland directed Thinner, 1996.
I thought it was great. I loved it.
I loved the book so much for some reason. I don't know why. I just fucking love that book. Another Bachman. It's technically not even King. It's Bachman, but
Right.
and I just the movie. It was good. It was adequate. It worked, but it's like one of those things. It's kind of like Cycle the Werewolf. You're just like, oh, it could have been better.
So you want to know my honest thing about the whole thing? The reason I love it so much is Kari Wurr's performance is so fucking terrible. It just makes the whole movie. It's great.
Yeah, it's like I guess it's like it's bad.
It's a
good bad.
It is one of the best terrible movies.
Yeah, terrible movie. That's fun.
I don't think Kari Wurr is in it. Is she?
She is. She plays the gypsy. She plays the young gypsy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, that's what it's like. You know, like the original Pet Sematary is a little bit like that because it's kind of a bad movie. You know what I mean? It's just very campy.
Yeah.
It's very low budget, and it's like, you know, you kind of
when the old man comes up and just goes Thinner. It's like he's saying. It's like he's from The Godfather or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Shane.
I like them.
I agree. I think it's great.
I actually just watched it just recently, and I mean, it's one of a kind. You know, all the animosity with the whole self-shaming and this, that, and the other,
and it's racist.
That's
good.
I'm not gonna lie. I want that pie. I need that pie.
Ooh, the pie, yeah.
I need that pie. I need some help over here.
You need to gain some.
What pie?
He eats a pie that makes him continue to lose weight.
No, he gets cursed to make him lose weight. He gets the pie to get the weight back on.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
because he was getting a blowjob from his wife, and he hit a fucking gypsy lady.
Yeah.
No, I know. It kind of worried me because I paused my camera to make dinner, and I had shepherd's pie. So when he said I want some of that pie and I was eating it, you kind of freaked me out, man.
I think this one's just okay.
So.
Well, you're okay to be wrong, Mark.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. I will say that fat suit wasn't very good.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
But performances stuff were okay.
But the emaciation makeup that they did on that guy was pretty fantastic.
Right.
Of course, if it was Christian Bale, he would have actually put that weight on and went all the way.
And taken that weight off.
Okay, now we have 1997's Rebecca De Mornay, The Shining. So I know we talked about.
I'm gonna say it's meh. It's forgettable. It's not exciting. I do remember that one scene with the cocaine mallet to the stomach, and that's about it.
Yep, agree. Meh.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one.
Yeah, I've not seen it. So we have another TV show episode. This is The Outer Limits, and it's the revelations of Becca Paulson.
I don't know that one.
I don't even know the story.
I was not an Outer Limits fan.
Unstable housewife Becca Paulson accidentally shoots herself in the head, survives, and suddenly becomes more intelligent. And strangely, a photo is talking to her. Yeah.
Huh.
That's like Phenomenon.
This was when I was in my pretentious I read
no.
Joyce stage, so I was like abandoning. I was telling people I never even didn't know who Stephen King was. I think at this point of my life.
Okay, next up is the 1997 TV movie Trucks.
What?
Never heard of it. Never heard of this story.
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. Aliens arrive, parking in a geostationary orbit over Nevada. Using powers unknown to us, they declare war and use unmanned trucks as a weapon. I wonder what that sounds like.
Is geostationary really necessary for part of that? Who wrote that fucking copy?
This is so I know, right?
Take that out.
Right.
I'm going to use geostationary in every single sentence I use because
Let's hear it. Good luck.
I am not currently geostationary.
That's the best you
But,
could do.
but aren't you?
Yeah.
Where are you?
I don't know
Right? I know. I'm saying, I mean, where are you that you're not geostationary?
because I'm
You have to be moving. If you're moving, you were geo moving.
yeah because I'm on the Earth, so I'm moving around.
No, but you're still.
No, you're
Well,
not.
the-
You're staying in the same
what I
spot.
mean,
The Earth is
Jim,
moving.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, let's save that for our astrophysics and quantum mechanics podcast.
Which we'll have Neil deGrasse Tyson on for
Yep.
that one, right?
I'm sure he would love to come on. Anyway,
I'm sure.
I heard he likes this, the Shining television series.
He just lost all credibility.
1997's The Night Flyer with Miguel Ferrer.
I have never seen it.
I think that was good. I think I saw that and it was good, but I can't remember.
Yeah, so this
That's like the worst review. I think I might have saw that and it was good.
this
I think
I'm
so.
trying. It's
Maybe
striking a bell
Maybe
with me. I remember it was
it
made
could've
for TV, right?
It was,
I don't.
yeah.
I remember it, man.
It looked like it. So this is like vampires going from like private like
He's drawing like a crop dust. He's playing like a crop duster or something, right?
no. But it's like a vampire on a plane flying from here.
Yes.
Miguel Ferrer is like
Yeah.
a journalist, I believe, and he's trying.
Well, maybe it's a Cessna or something, not a crop duster.
This one was just okay. It really, Matthew, you're saying is it a made-for-TV movie? If it isn't, it sure as hell looks like one.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I remember the makeup for the villain being terrible, the vampire being really bad.
yeah. Well, it's kind of an interesting makeup choice, but yeah.
I remember that. I remember the vampire monster. I thought he looked cool. I don't
I didn't.
know.
Shane,
I can't remember this shit.
Shane, and your shepherd's pie, what do you think of the Night Flyer?
I've never seen it, unfortunately. I
Yep,
can't
no worries.
comment on this one. Night Flyer, my list right now.
I'm not sure that one needs to be on your list.
Okay, I'll
So
take
the next
that off.
one, I think this was Stephen King and Clive Barker, and it's Quicksilver Highway
I don't know that one.
with
Nope.
Christopher Lloyd.
Nice. Well, then I'm gonna give it a classic,
Yeah,
Yeah,
even
of
though I've
course.
never seen it.
so
Well, it's either going to be classic or great, one of the two.
it's like
Is that the one where they draw a Q on the wall and the dude comes out?
No, that
of
was
it
the Trump
and,
election.
yeah, that's Kane. Somebody draws a Q on the wall. Somebody steps out. Shane.
Where Stephen King goes one, Stephen King goes off.
I don't know. I just keep thinking that the people coming out of the walls after you draw the letter Q are puppets. I love that soundtrack.
No, it was. I remember seeing something where somebody drew a Q on it. There was some kind of chant. Next thing you know, the dude came out and fucking haunted him.
So this one I have seen, and I thought it was okay. They're kind of real quirky stories. About the first one's about a psychotic hitchhiker who falls prey to a relentlessly dangerous, sharp set of chattering teeth. And the I think it's a Clive Barker one. It's where a human hand that comes alive. And spoiler, there's lots of human hands that come alive towards the end of it.
I was going to say, are human hands not alive?
Not by themselves.
Oh, so these are like dismembered
Correct.
human hands that come
Like
alive.
Evil Dead 2.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Or a
Well-
la the hand.
No, the hand was attached to him. It was he got a transplant.
No, the hand it got, but it was his hand that got hit, that got taken off by the truck when they passed. That came back after him.
It's the Michael Caine one.
No,
Wasn't
I
it?
thought he got the hand of a Michael Caine movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a disembodied hand.
It's the disembodied hand that gets hit by that he gets taken off of the truck
And then it comes
when he puts
back
his
on.
hand out the window. That comes back for him after he gets the
All right,
transfer.
I'll just say Addams Family.
Okay, and we are up to number 43, and this is
Wow, we're halfway through this list already.
1998's Apt Pupil.
Are we really only halfway done? Wow.
It's classic. It's an
I
absolute
think we may
classic.
pause here and end this podcast soon, and then we can pick it up another time.
I think that's a fantastic idea. Myself.
Anyway, so we'll do a few more, and then we can see. Okay, so Apt Pupil. I know both of you mentioned that you enjoyed it.
Absolute classic. Matthew?
I'm trying to remember it, man.
What?
Yeah, I'm like obsessed with the short story. I remember liking it. I only saw it once, like when it came out. It's been 25 years.
Who is the kid in this movie?
Brad Renfro.
Brad Renfro. Thank you. But
It's not as gnarly as the story. Is there something things?
No, it is not.
Yeah,
it is
I
not.
think it disappointed me. You know what I mean? Because it's
like
American
a
Psycho. I
PG-13
think it's a
movie.
great movie, but dude, come on, the book, dude, like it's fucking A. You know what I mean? It's like a different animal.
And it's really tame comparatively because didn't this? I believe this came out around the time that American History X came out too, right?
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I think so.
I love that movie.
I mean, comparatively, as far as the violence goes, it was pretty tame.
Right.
But I still think that it was fantastic because Brad Renfro was fantastic in being the kid that turns on his mentor.
And of course, Ian McKellen.
Yes.
Oh yeah, huh? That is him. Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
I will put this in a great tier. I think it's really good.
Fair.
Jane?
I wrote
Jane,
it
you
down.
got lots of homework.
Read the story, bro.
He does. Yeah.
So the book's better than
Absolutely.
the movie?
It's just more fucked
Always.
up.
Yeah, it's that they go into some really sick shit in the book, in the story.
Okay, so I never knew this either. 1998, the X-Files episode Chinga.
Huh, I didn't know that either, man.
Read me a description because I've seen every episode of the X-Files and I don't know if I know this one.
Rumors of witchcraft and sorcery surrounding a bizarre murder at a supermarket in a small New England fishing town leads Scully, who's on vacation, to a little girl and a cursed doll that may be hiding a murderous presence.
That doesn't sound like a Stephen King short story.
Well, the small fish.
No, it sounds like several of them.
All of his stories are like several Stephen King stories. Stephen King's new novel, several Stephen King stories jammed together into.
Right.
So, has anybody seen this one? Or remember?
No,
I probably have, but I don't remember it.
It's fucked up. I feel like if I had seen it, I would have been telling myself, Stephen King wrote this, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I wasn't the hugest X-Files fan, but I definitely watched them really regularly when they were on. I feel like I've seen all of them, but I just feel like if I was maybe I saw it and didn't realize Stephen King wrote it because I feel like that would have stood out to me. You know what I mean? I would have been like, oh.
I think.
You know what's funny?
Yeah, go.
My favorite ending to an X-Files episode is Lily Tomlin and Ed Asner dancing as ghosts. Anyway, go on. I digress.
All right, so this is number 45. So I think we'll end this podcast at 45.
It's like 28 years ago, man. Those things are out.
And
Jesus Christ.
I think this is one of the very best Stephen King made for TV series, I think it was. And this was one which I believe he just wrote for this project. And this is...
You better be talking about Rose Red.
This is Storm of the Century.
Oh, yeah.
It was just okay to me. I did love Colin Feore as the villain in that series, but other than that, the story was just okay.
I never saw it, but people really liked it.
I think it's classic. That's where I put it.
I just thought it was okay.
I remember thinking I should see this because everyone's liking it, but it just never happened.
Yeah, Colin Fior was fantastic, but I honestly they tried to put it in. They tried to meld whatever was happening with the Lost Colony of Roanoke, and it sort of fell apart to me.
I'm pissed off that I didn't know Stephen King wrote X-Files. That's something. Well, now I know.
Yeah.
You learn
you
something.
know.
That just feels like something I should have fucking known.
We are educational, if nothing else.
This is a very educational show. I appreciate it. It's good quality stuff.
But that kind of tunes me in to think, like, how come you didn't write something for like Sliders?
Sliders is more lowbrow, I think, than the X-Files was.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I mean, and I will say, I did not get into Sliders until after it was off the air.
But nothing's more lowbrow than Tales from the Dark Side. I mean, that's like a bunch of dudes in Pittsburgh in their basement.
That's pretty true. Yeah. Although I will say my favorite Tales from the Dark Side episode is the one with the tarot deck that's cursed.
Yes, that's a great one.
Mama's Family.
That's fantastic. It's so good, dude. I'm into tarot. I'll read you guys tarot cards sometime if you ever want them read.
Oh, look, it's the Rider-Waite deck.
Yes,
I have several myself.
It actually is. Yeah, so have I.
Yeah,
it's my favorite deck.
Is it? Mine was the Celtic Dragon deck.
It just feels very classic. It feels older than it is.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. We should keep talking about Stephen King.
I think we'll just save this for our tarot card reading podcast. But Storm of the Century, I think, is really, really good. It's made for TV, but
it was well done for a made for TV series.
It doesn't look that cheap at all, and I believe that it was never released on DVD or anything. And I remember Stephen King on Twitter.
I don't know if I believe
he just put a link to it on YouTube. He's just like, just go watch it. Like, I didn't care. But yeah, it's definitely
that old rascal.
Yeah, Shane, have you seen Storm of the Century?
Yeah, it's available for $12 on DVD on Amazon.
They must have just released it then. This was maybe a year or two ago because he was complaining about it not being released. Anyway, Shane, Storm of the Century. Are you writing it down?
He wrote it down.
Okay, everyone. I think that will wrap us up for this episode.
Yeah.
We really appreciate Matthew and Shane.
Hey, hang on. Matthew, please give a little pop to your podcast.
Yep.
Before we say goodbye.
Hey there, true crime fans. You should come check out Murder Coaster, weekly deep dives into the world's most bizarre and crazy true crime, hosted by me, Matthew Brockmeyer, and the lovely Krista Carmen. Every Wednesday, www.murdercoasterpodcast.com or anywhere you get podcasts.
If you ever want to hear what a real podcast should sound like, go listen to them.
Right.
We were trying.
Shane, is there anything you want to pimp?
No, it was a pleasure, Matt, to be able to speak with you and pick your brain and first time meeting you. So
hell yeah, Shane,
talking with you, Jim,
and maybe we'll have
anytime. Jim, always a pleasure. And Mark, I'll see you for Thanksgiving.
I don't think so, but anyway. I think maybe our special guest maybe could join us next time as we continue this Thanksgiving feast of Stephen King works.
I do know we have one other special guest that is absolutely interested in recording with us next weekend. So Carlos Rivera wants to join us for the second half of this podcast.
Let's see. We're getting popular now. How much did you pay him?
We are. I haven't paid him anything. I just read his book.
Okay. I think that's it. Have a nice
Listen for our next episode where we'll talk about more of Stephen King's work.